Mr. Paul Akers. How are you?
Great, Dominic. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. As many of our listeners know, you're the author of a couple of really cool books on lean manufacturing and just how to do things faster, smarter, better, and more profitably.
Yep, you got that right. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it.
Yeah, and not only are you an author in this business, this industry, but you're in this industry. You're actually in
I'm a cabinet maker. I'm part of the brotherhood, man.
power.
These are my peeps. I don't get to talk to my peeps very often. These are my peeps, man.
These are the peeps. That's right. And I'm glad you came on here. I know you speak for YPO, which is affiliated with a business group that I'm in. But for people that don't know who Paul Akers is and maybe haven't read your book or seen some of the products you have for installation and manufacturing efficiency, can you tell us who you are and why you come to be on the CabinetMaker Profit System podcast?
Well, I like to say that I'm a D&C student who struggled with school my entire life. I'm not quick on the uptake. And because of my deficiencies, I had to find workarounds to make my life more workable. And I discovered lean manufacturing about 17 years ago, and it changed my life because I went from waking up every day and kind of struggling through work to waking up every day and going, work is unbelievable, and building this magnificent team around me of people that feel the same way and accomplish 10x times everybody else. That's who I am. An average guy that discovered an amazing process.
Right. Well, I saw while I was doing the research for you, I noticed you're doing a Japan tour for people who are really into lean. Let's talk about that later. Sorry, let me go back a step.
No problem.
Let's go back a step. What is lean for people who don't know? And for those who kind of have an idea, why should we not be afraid of lean on our manufacturing floor?
Lean is for really lazy people that like to find magnificent ways, I'll use that word a second time, to do things. But if you're not lazy and you're just comfortable with the way things are and you really don't care, then it's probably not a good system for you. But if you're always trying to find a better way to do things and make things easier because you're tired of working hard, because you want to relax a little, lean is a good thing for you. So simply put, the answer to your question is, what is lean? Lean is the elimination of waste. Everything you do every day, Dominic, and everything Paul Akers does every day, how you record this podcast, how you're going to edit this podcast, how you contacted me, the email you sent, the communications, all of it is laden with waste. You think it's perfect, but it's not. It has all kinds of erroneous things going on inside of the starting and the ending point of it. And all a lean thinker is doing is saying, okay, what did I do? And how can I eliminate the waste or shrink the time and deliver more value with less effort and less resources? That's all we're doing. But the difference is, because people will say, I can hear it right now, I already do that. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have a clue. You're not even close to do that, because a real lean thinker does that 24/7. They are on all the time thinking, what did I do? How can I improve it? Yada, yada, yada. But most people do it occasionally when they have time.
Right.
Not the way lean thinkers do. Lean thinkers are the most deliberate people in the world. And they make no excuses. They realize that everything they do sucks. And this is the problem. Most people think they're good. I've been doing this for 17 years. I have a world-class facility. I showed you my facility. People come from around the world to see it. UPS, Coca-Cola, Toyota, the U.S. Navy, Bombardier, you name it, they've all been in my plant. We suck.
You mean you could still be better? You're always looking for...
It's not just be better. We're so bad, it's unbelievable. It's not just be better. We're so bad compared to Toyota. Toyota's a 99 and we're a 3. And Toyota comes to us. We're so bad. And so most people just can't get their head around that huge discrepancy. And that's why I take people to Japan. When I show them Japanese excellence, they go, oh my gosh, we are pigs. Go, yeah, you're right. We are pigs. We have no clue what we're doing. But most people can't put that together. So when you become a lean thinker, you understand the chasm that separates the reality of where you are and the reality of where you should be.
So you know this business really well, and I think you're the perfect person to bridge this gap for us. Is lean too much for us, and how could we even use it then? Like, give me an example from a real cabinet making, architectural millwork shop. Give us an example of some tangible time you could show somebody how to shave off.
Oh my gosh, it's so simple. Just look around your shop right now. Just walk around your shop and
Yeah.
look at all the piles of work everywhere. Everywhere there's a pile, all you are is a glorified stacker of material.
Wow.
All you're doing is stacking material everywhere. You're unstacking and stacking, stacking and unstacking, and you're taking it, you're moving it to the machine, and then moving it back to a pile.
Yeah.
That is brain dead work. And most cabinet makers are doing that by the boatload.
I agree.
There you go. It's that simple. It's everywhere.
Well, so then the next question is, and guys are driving their truck right now or walking their dog, and now their dog's about to have a longer walk than normal because they're listening to this.
Yeah.
What do I do? How do I fix it? That's what we do. We stack the wood. We move it to the next department. That next department, we've only got one guy. That guy's backed up. It's just sitting there.
Well, I can tell you right now, I can hear all the people that are listening to this right now. They're all getting up their cackles. They're going to ready to attack me.
They are, yeah.
But I'm going to make it as simple as I can. You need to do one piece flow. You need to make one at a time instead of batches of cabinets at a time. So a cabinet needs to be coming out the end of your line like every 30 seconds. It's finished instead of a whole bunch of cabinets being all finished all at one time. Let me give you an example because I know everyone's throwing back their hands right now and saying, Paul, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, I've been doing cabinet making for 30 years. I might know something about it. But let me tell you what happened to me, and then they'll understand. When I started FastCap, my product development company, I was making caps on my machine, and I was making 30,000 caps in a batch. I was making these big batches. And the Japanese came into my company, and they said, Paul, why are you making so many caps? And I said, because the setup on the machine is very difficult. So we set up the machine, which takes us 45 minutes, and then we turn the machine on, get it all adjusted, and then we run. And we run for about a month's worth of product.
Right.
That was what we did. Or a week worth of product for that matter. We ran a week's worth of product. We ran a day's worth of product. Okay?
Sure.
And they said, the problem is your setup time. I said, exactly. So, well, let's work on your setup time. So in 1 week, those Japanese came in and looked at my setup time, which took me 45 minutes, and they took it to 5 minutes. Now, all of a sudden, the customer rang and said, I need these caps. You know what we did? Flipped the machine on, ran exactly what they wanted, turned the machine off. What did that do? Lowered our inventory down dramatically, lowered all of our finished products down dramatically. So we had this big warehouse full of inventory, right? And then we had this big warehouse full of finished goods. We didn't need all that stuff. So what happened to our cash flow? Our cash flow went through the ceiling.
Right. Because you didn't have to have those leases. You didn't have to have the space. Probably less.
Well, I never laid a single person off because when I discovered lean, all of a sudden we were so productive, we could do all kinds of other value-added activity. So we never lost a single employee. We kept growing because we gained more opportunity. And today we tens of millions of dollars around the world. I mean, we're a big company, right? And I started as a small cabinet maker. But when I discovered lean and realized what I do, we have 800 products. It's unheard of.
Yeah.
I'm a cabinet maker. I didn't go to MIT. I didn't get a degree in engineering. I don't have any. I'm a freaking cabinet maker.
Well, you got some stuff there. You've got some great stuff.
When I learned how to think differently, everything changed. And so, for instance, when you look at our product line, all of our ideas come from the cabinet makers, my people, the people I'm talking to right now. You have the best ideas. You do the work. You know the problem. You bring your problems to me. I pay you a 5% royalty. And next thing you know, we have a lean innovation because lean believes the best ideas come from the people who do the work, not from the executives like me. They don't say, oh, the management has to come up with all the good ideas. Nonsense. The people doing the work come up with the good ideas.
Right.
So this is the way a lean thinker is totally different than a normal thinker.
I love it. Have you ever heard the concept?
Am I making any sense?
You are making sense. I think you get a lot of resistance, and because as a business coach, I get the same resistance, right? Changing systems, they'll say, Dom, you don't know what you're talking about. The best way to do it is in batches. We're going to run all these batches. This guy knows how to do this. That machine's good for this.
The way we think.
Make a cabinet, spit it out, get it ready, make the next one. And are you saying make a room at a time or make a cabinet at a time?
I'm going to let them figure that out, but I would say make a cabinet at a time. I would say figure out a process to make a cabinet at a time so the cabinets are flowing. The line is just like, think of a car line. It should be flowing. The parts should be, Henry Ford developed all this stuff, right? I mean, the parts should be flowing out and
Right.
not batching, not stacked in piles. You got to think differently about this. I mean, the laser jam, one of our best-selling products, a laser leveling device for CabinetMaker. We made 100 at a time. We made them in batches because
Yeah.
that was the way we thought was the most efficient. The Japanese came in 45 minutes a piece to make them, and they turned it in 7 minutes in 1 week. So we went from taking 45 minutes to build our aluminum laser jam to 7 minutes, and we build one at a time. When people order a Polk workbench, I showed you that. When people
Yeah.
order the best fence system, we make them to order same day.
You just put
Everything
it on the
same day.
machine, spit it out. That Polk workbench is fantastic.
Everything same day.
Yeah.
We don't have any inventory of finished goods. We don't need that. That's stupid. Why would we do that? Why would we build a bigger building to start doing that? Instead, we focused on fixing the process and asking why? Why do we have to make so many parts? Well, because that machine's temperamental. Because that machine is difficult to use. Because well, make it not so difficult. Take out the temperamentalness out of it. Remove the variation. This is the way a lean thinker thinks. And when you do that, everything changes.
Yeah. When you take your ego out and you say, how can I learn? How can I get better?
Well, ego's the enemy. I mean, you can't have, if you have an ego, you can't be a lean thinker. They don't go together, unfortunately. You know, it's like, I always tell people when I learned lean, I had won every business award, startup company of the year. Everybody wanted to invest in my company. I was making a ton of money. Everything was going right. Everybody thought I was, you know, the best thing since sliced bread. And the Japanese came in and basically told me, you suck.
Yeah.
That's what they told me. They told me, you suck. You don't have a clue what you're doing. That's how brutal they were to me. And I said, I could have said, get out of here. I know I make more money than you. You're a freaking consultant. You don't make as much money as me, right?
Right.
But I did. And I said, well, what am I doing wrong? And they said, you need to learn the Toyota production system or lean manufacturing. And I immediately said, how do I do it? And they said, 10,000 bucks a month, 10,000 bucks a week,
Right.
10,000 bucks a week for consulting. And I went and talked to my wife and I said, I need to do this. She said, we don't have 10,000 bucks to throw out consultants. And I said, they're going to teach me something that's going to change my life. I'm going to learn it. I spent the money and the rest is history.
And now here you are. Well, you've got a book called 2 Second Lean. Hold on. Let me go back for a second. Now you've got me thinking, what's the most effective way to have an interview with Paul to get the highest value?
Good question.
Well, let me leave it at that. What's the
to have an honest dialogue about life and about what we're really doing every day. Life should be enjoyable. A lot of the people who are listening right now are business owners. Most of the business owners that I talk to are very frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
They have employee problems. They have process problems. They're basically glorified firefighters.
You're right.
There's got to be something more to it than being a glorified firefighter. Business should be amazing. It should be awesome.
It should be fun.
It should be fun. It should be like, you should be jacked up. I've been doing this for 20 years. I am jacked up about it, right? Because I have awesome people that work with me and I've developed processes to make it better every day. So every day we come to work at FastCap, it's better than yesterday.
Right.
So how to have a good interview with me? To have an honest interview, to take off the rose-colored glasses and say, these are the struggles that I'm having. How do I deal with it? And I'll tell you exactly what to do. You need to become 1,000% committed to the philosophy that I'm espousing.
Mm-hmm.
You need to put your head down and realize this is a journey. This is not going. Everything's not going to get better overnight, and it's going to require some really hard work. But lean is hard work, really hard work that makes life easy. So I have a great life because I was willing to put in the hard work, and now because the flywheel's spinning, it just keeps getting easier and easier. And all I have to do is just touch the flywheel every once in a while and it just goes.
All right. So you've got people's interest now. What's the first thing I can do? I don't want the whole solution, but where's, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Where do I start?
Yeah, exactly.
What do I do?
It's the essence of my book. Fix what bugs you.
Huh.
Instead of putting off what bothers you. Instead of saying, oh, that bothers me, I'll get to that someday. Stop and fix it now. The moment you gain the benefit from fixing that first problem,
Mm-hmm.
it changes your view, your perspective. You go, God, that took me a half hour, that took me 45 minutes, that took me an hour and a half. But now I never have to deal with that again. And I start receiving the benefit. This is like investing in real estate or investing your money. Initially, there isn't a big revenue, but before long, you get the compounding. And what happens? All of a sudden, the check's in the mail. You walk out and grab that check, right?
Yeah.
You've got to start the investment. You've got to start the investment of fixing what bugs you. And I've connected at our company well over 250,000 improvements. Imagine the compounding that I'm getting.
That's right. Insane. I can think of a consistent problem that happens with many of the woodworking shops that I'm dealing with is when it comes to finishing, just as an example, and the finisher has some resistance to the recipe, keeping a recipe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then touch-ups and deficiencies and all those things. And that's one of the things that consistently people find to be very taxing. And that's without even, that's in the job. Before the job is the bid process. And how to make that more efficient. Just the bid process itself.
And there's so much waste and it's mind-boggling. You know how I used to do my cabinets, and people know what I'm talking about. I had a program called Cabinet Vision, for designing my cabinet. And this was like 25 years ago. I mean, this is back before when the computers first came out. I had elements of lean thinking back then. I wasn't perfect by any stretch, but I would literally take my large computer to every job, take it, put it on the kitchen countertop, and design the whole kitchen right there with the housewife and the mother and the father and the whole 9 yards. And then they would look at it, they go, I can't believe it. I'm just looking at my new kitchen right now in my kitchen. And they go, sold.
Right.
There was no bid process. It was like done. Right? Because I understood this back and forth, jockeying back and forth, calling on the phone, paperwork, explain. Why not do it right there?
Yeah.
So I took it all and designed it at their house with them comfortable drinking a latte.
In their house.
This was 25 years ago.
Yeah. So you brought in a tower and
absolutely
massive monitor, and I'm sure you had a rack for it. And
no, I didn't. I just set it all on their countertop with the monitor and the keyboard, and I started designing. It was like they couldn't even believe what they were seeing. They were blown away.
Yeah. You know what that's called? That's in sales. That's called the puppy dog close.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How's that? Tell me.
Because when you're trying to sell a puppy dog, you hand it to the person and say,
"Oh,
well,
yeah,
if you like it." And now they're holding it. And then people that sell furniture, if the wife comes to shop for the furniture, but the decision gets made at home, so you'll take a picture of the wife standing next to this armoire, and you say, well, I'll email it to your house, and you and your husband can decide. Well, now you've got the wife standing with the armoire, and she owns it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is how high it is. Look, honey, it's my height. And so it's the same thing with what you're talking about, I think. Very similar.
Well, the point is she got to make all the changes she wanted to make. She got to play with it right there on the spot. There wasn't any back and forth, so I removed all the friction out of it. And in Cabinet Vision back then, and you still do it, you got the bird's eye view. I can rotate it. They were like, this is unbelievable. I go, yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? I never dealt with all the crap that most cabinet makers dealt with because I was thinking along these lines initially. But I've got to be very careful here because I was not a lean thinker back then. I just had little traces of it. When you really understand the Toyota production system, it is mind-boggling. It is at a level so high. Like I'm just barely scratching the surface. I've been doing it for 17 years.
Well, there's a lot to learn here. I think that's the point. And the goal that we have on this podcast is an educational platform, a place for guys to come and learn in a way that's not intimidating. You're learning what you're having fun. You're fun to interview for sure. I hope people like being interviewed by me and can learn from this.
Right.
But there always has to be action. I want people to take action from what they've learned. So what I've learned from you so far is to take a critical look at my operations.
Honest. Yeah. Honest.
Do you want to know a trick that I've done through business coaching? Is I'll get a guy to go up the stairs, find a way to get above his operations and put in earplugs, like to take out the sound and just watch.
Well, that's exactly one of the premises of lean, to go and watch, just see what's really going on. Most of the time, all your people are walking around. They're walking around.
Yeah.
They're just walking around.
Yeah. And you've got to fix one thing at a time, not everything at once.
Mm-hmm. And the Japanese and Toyota has a saying, one step equals 1 second equals 1 yen or 1 penny. They're concerned about one step. They're looking at a single motion. They're like, they can't be. We have to eliminate that. We have to drive that waste out of the process. So when you go to Toyota and you watch them put together a car, you're like, oh my gosh. Everything you do in life, everything you've ever done in life is nothing short of sloppy. The way they do it's like choreography at the highest level. It's like watching anything better than any ballet dance, anything you could ever watch.
Well, it's great. Hey, this has been a absolutely fantastic interview. I can't, as I said to people already, the process of setting this interview with you has been completely different than any other podcast episode.
Because it was just in time, right? It was just like, okay, let's do it now. Don't wait. Let's do it now.
Yeah.
Because that's the way I operate. If you want to put me on the queue, put me in a batch, I'm going, I don't have time for that. I'm way too busy. You want to do it right now? Let's get it done right now.
Yeah. Well, successful people take action. And I think that in itself is a lesson that you've brought up here today is look at your operations and find a way to save 1 step, 1 yen now.
Just for the viewers, this is my podium, a cardboard box in my conference room. Okay? See how simple, and look at my conference room. Look how simple it is. There's no chairs. We have a wipe-off board that we've made in our cabinet shop, 1 poster on the wall, a beautiful table, and I stand here and I just got a cardboard box, put it up, put my phone on it, and let's go. Everything we do is simple. We don't get lost in all the garbage that most people get lost in.
I love it. Hey, if somebody wants to find out more about you, I know that you have the book called 2 Second Lean.
Mm-hmm.
You also have a book called 2 Second Fitness. What are you, Tim Ferriss?
Yeah. I've done 2 Ironman now. I'm just like I'm a maniac for health, and I'm 58 years old. I'll be 58 in a couple days, and I'm in perfect physical shape. I mean, at the highest level. And I figured out how to take care of my health by applying lean principles. So I used to play football in high school, and I could kick the shit out of myself, excuse me for my French, compared to then. I'm in that much better shape than I was in high school when I was 18 years old.
I'd like to see that fight.
Yeah. It would be no contest. One reason I'm mentally much stronger than I was back then, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is all a brain game. All right. So if people want to find out more about you or they can read your book, find it on Amazon.
Yeah. You can do it 2 ways. paulakers.net. Everything's there. Everything's free. I don't want a penny. All my videos are free. All my books are free. You can go to YouTube and go 2secondlean.com. You can listen to everything. Lean Health, Lean Travel. Everything's free. If you want to buy it on Amazon, you can buy it on Amazon. It's available everywhere. They're all on Audible, but you don't have to do that. Everything's free. So you can go to FastCap's website and you can find out about me there and see all of our cool products, or you can go to paulakers.net. Everything's there.
Yeah, I love it. That FastCap website on its own is a drool fest of cool tools and ways to save time and line things up. I saw, you know what? I used to have a painting company, and when I saw your sealant saver, I know that sounds simple. But do you know how much sealant we wasted? I would go do a job and think that's only half a tube of caulking. I'm going to waste the whole tube. It's gone. As soon as you open it, the thing's done. It's done.
Dominic, you get it already, because that is exactly the issue. That's seeing waste. Yeah. And this is what we need to have. And instead of just tolerating, instead of just saying that's wasted, then a lean thinker does the next step. They go, how do I eliminate that waste? Right. And then they run an experiment. This is the PDA cycle. They run an experiment. They find out what worked and what didn't work. Then they adjust it. Then they rerun the experiment until they get the desired results, which is 0 waste. This is lean thinking. You don't just make one experiment and say, well, I got kind of close. You keep running it till you get 0 waste. So you use every drop of caulking in that gun. Yeah,
that's crazy. It's one little product on anyways. We're not here to sell products. We're here to educate people, but it's a product that made me think, oh man, I wasted a ton of caulking in my life.
Yeah. Well, that's all of our products.
Installing crown moldings does the same thing every day. You think about it. If you waste 1 tube of caulking a week, $13 a week times 52 weeks in the year, and it's more than 1 tube.
You got it. You got it completely. This is lean thinking. What you're saying right now is lean thinking. And when you start to connect that with everything we're doing, whether it be screws, nails, glue, plywood, finished materials, sandpaper, paper in the printer, people's time, motion, the waste is everywhere. It's like a giant scavenger hunt where we're throwing out millions and millions of dollars in time and resources.
Yeah.
And you're not even aware of it. But when you become a lean thinker, your eyes change and all of a sudden you start seeing it and go, oh my gosh.
Well, this is pretty cool. Paul, I appreciate your time. I know we snuck you in here between some other meetings you have, so I don't want to hold you very long. I have a feeling I'm going to have you back for another interview, another day in the future.
You're awesome. You did a great job. I love your energy and your charisma. So anything you want.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Okay?
Have a great day. And everybody, thank you for listening to CabinetMakerProfitSystem.com. This will all be published as a transcript that goes on the website. And of course, you can see this on YouTube and listen to it as an audio. Have a great day, everybody. We appreciate what you're doing.